Good evening, everyone. This shiur, Bezat Hashem, is dedicated le'atzlacha, for the success of the Moshe family, Bezat Hashem, for the success of the Meir family, for the success of Anonymous family, and le'ilui nishmat Don Ben Esther. Bezat Hashem, Chag Sameach. We are in Sukkot, and today it's a special shiur. It's a shiur that talks about the last day of Sukkot, Hoshaana, Rabba, but it's also good for the whole year. We're going to say some things that are apply for the whole year, but especially we're going to explain a little bit of the day that's called Hoshaana Rabba. This is a very special day. We can even call it the highest day in the year. It's mamash like Yom Kippur, but in a different mood. And I want to speak a little bit about that day. Things that are the source of those things that we're going to talk today are from the Zohar, from the Talmud, from Kabbalah books, Bezat Hashem. The last day of Sukkot, it's gonna, Bezat Hashem, be this year on Sunday, which starts on Motzei Shabbat and Sunday. This day called Hoshaana Rabbah. Bezat Hashem, we're gonna speak about some other secrets, because it's the last day of Sukkot. We're gonna speak about the Arba Minim, the 4 different Minim that we have, Etrog, Lulav, Arava, Hadas, that we take and we shake on Sukkot. And because we speak about the last day of Sukkot, we're gonna speak a little bit about what to do with those minim after Sukkot, what use we can use them for after Sukkot, if there is a use, what energy each one of them has, and Bezat Hashem, we're gonna say some secrets that are written in holy books thousands of years ago. We're going to talk about how to have a better sleep at night, how to get children for those who doesn't have, and even for those who think they're not going to have. Bezat Hashem, there is a chance. We're going to speak about how to do that and how Sukkot is related to this. Bezat Hashem, we're going to speak about a little bit about ourselves, how to be more happy, how to get a better year, because we're going to see soon that Hoshaana Rabbah, like I said, it's very close and similar to Yom Kippur. Some customs say Slichot on Hoshaana Rabbah. Slichot, it's those prayers that we do on the month of Elul and on Yom Kippur. Hoshaana Rabbah, the last day of Sukkot, it's called Hoshaana Rabbah because it's a word that divided to 2 words. Hoshana. Hosha means Hashem help us. Toshia otanu. Na is please. But this is the simple understanding. If we're going to go a little bit more deep, Chachamim say Hosha, help us when? Na. Nun Aleph. Nun Aleph is 51. Nun is 50. The numerical value of the letter Nun is 50. The numerical value of Aleph is the first letter, so it's 1. 51. If we're gonna count 51 days from the first day of Elul, when we start praying for a good year, when we start praying, doing slichot, asking Hashem to give us a sweet year, a successful year. We started on Aleph Elul, on the first day of Elul. 51 days after that, it's going to be exactly the last day of Sukkot, which is Hoshaana Rabbah. Hoshaana Rabbah, this is the 51st day that we ask for mercy, we ask for a good year, we ask for a sweet year. That's why we have the custom, if you remember, we spoke on Rosh Hoshanah, that we dip, every Shabbat, we dip the bread 3 times in salt. But on those days, between Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, we dip it also in honey. Because in those days, Hashem judges the whole world and he decide who's gonna leave, who's gonna live a successful year, who's gonna have a happy year, who's gonna have good life, or chas v'shalom the opposite. What's gonna happen with us the whole year? Basically, Hashem decides on Rosh Hashanah, and 10 days after that, which is Yom Kippur, we get the stamp. Hashem makes a stamp. This is what's gonna be. But if we're gonna make a mashal, a parable, Hashem like a king. So a king, when he puts a stamp on something that he decides to do, he puts a stamp, but then you have to send it, for those people to actually make the whatever the king decided to do, right? Hotzah lafa'al. So you have to send it. So Rosh Hashanah, it's the day when everything is written. Hashem writes down what's going to be with you this year. Can I have a good year? Not good year, chas v'shalom. A lot of challenges this year, or chas v'shalom, everything is going to be easy for you. All those things are decided on Rosh Hashanah. That's what we have Rosh Hashanah. It's written on Rosh Hashanah, but the stamp you get on Yom Kippur. But in one of the rules of kosher, in kosher wine, when they make kosher wine, so wine has is very special, more than any other drink, because wine absorbs purity and impurity. That's why if someone that is impure touches the wine that it's not mevushal, not cooked, pure wine, so he puts his impurity inside that wine. So that's what we have to keep when we make wine. We keep it outside from people that are not pure. So that's why when you buy a kosher wine, every time you're gonna see a wine has two covers. One cover is the
Cork.
It's
Cork.
the cork. Yeah, it's the cork. You close it one, and the second one you have another something
Seeds.
wraps. Yeah, something you wrap it with another thing.
Yeah.
So it's called chotam betoch chotam. It's a stamp inside another stamp. That's how it's called in halacha, in the law of Torah.
Double stamp.
Why double stamp? Yeah. So those two stamps, same thing happens. A decision of the king of Hashem. So there's a stamp and there's another stamp, two stamps, and then he sends it away. So the first stamp is on Yom Kippur. The second stamp, the chitzon, the external stamp, is made on Hoshaana Rabbah, on the last day of Sukkot. So this day, which is going to be Motzei Shabbat and Sunday, this day basically the last decision for our year is made. That's why this year it's a final decision. That's why this day is so important, mamash like Yom Kippur.
But we are not fasting.
What?
Not fasting.
We're not fasting. No.
It's not fasting.
It's Yom Kippur that you don't need to fast. This day is so important, has an effect on our luck, on our life, on our future. And that's why even a person, let's say, sometimes on Yom Kippur, you didn't have a good Yom Kippur. Yeah, you tried your best, but it didn't go. You didn't do tshuva, you didn't regret the right way or whatever. Sometimes people sick on Yom Kippur, and they feel like they didn't do enough to clean themselves and be'emet to get a good year from Hashem. So you have another chance. You have Hoshaana Rabba. And that's why on Hoshaana Rabba, men stay all night learning. Because the exact time when Hashem makes the second stamp and send the messengers to give it away and to actually to the practical life, this is made exactly at midnight on Motzei Shabbat, on the last day of Sukkot. Hoshaana Rabbah at midnight, that's the second that they send it away. And basically there is a chance to change even after, because but it's very hard. Right after that, we have a holiday, Shmini Atzeret. Some people call it the 8th day of Sukkot, but it has nothing to do with Sukkot. It's a separate holiday. Simchat Torah, Shmini Atzeret. It's a separate holiday. We don't sit in the sukkah. In Israel, they don't sit in the sukkah. Here, we sit. The first day we do sit because of a doubt, but the second day, Simchat Torah, we're not allowed to sit in the sukkah anymore. It's not Sukkot. It's a different day, which we have to make a whole lecture about this day. Bezrat Hashem, maybe next year. So, but Shmini Atzeret and Simchat Torah, it's a different day. On the time in the morning when all the people pray Shacharit, the morning prayer, when they pray the prayer of Musaf, which is right after the morning prayer, we have a certain part there that we say Keter Itenu Lecha. It's something that everybody says together. Keter Itenu Lecha. That's a certain prayer. At that prayer, it's already, that's it. They send it away and you cannot bring it back anymore. That's it. The year started basically. So, no, it's not only for men. This is for everyone. But I'm saying that men, they study all night. Because maybe we'll go into that. I'm not sure if we're going to have time today. But the women, the wife, she is affected more than she affects herself. Her husband affects her in whatever he does. That's why it's very important you keep your husband holy, you know? It's very important. In certain things, women has more effect. For example, on the kids. Women has more effect on the kids. Even when they create the kids. Whatever she thinks. And her mood has more effect and she's more dominant in it. But on all the prayers that we do and those things, the man has a straight effect on his wife. And if she's not married, so she gets it from her father and sometimes from her husband, future husband, that she doesn't know where he is, but he's affecting her. Anyway, let's go back to Hoshaana Rabbah. So on Hoshaana Rabbah, we have basically the second stamp, and we have a time, it's a perfect time to change our future. We can still make tshuva, means go back to Hashem. We can still renew our life, decide certain decisions for life that can change our life for the next year, that can give us a sweet year, a better year, less challenges, less problems. So this is why Hoshaana Rabbah, it's a very, very important day. What can we do on Hoshaana Rabbah? So the second stamp will be, Hashem will write good things about us and we're going to have a good year. What can we do on Hoshaana Rabbah to actually change? The best thing to do on Hoshaana Rabbah, first of all, is Tehillim. Reading of Tehillim. There's a few reasons why. First reason is because every day of Sukkot we have something called Ushpizin. Ushpizin means a certain tzaddik, righteous person, that he is the guest, our guest, in the sukkah. Now, this is not a story or, for kids. This is actually real. A spark of Avraham Avinu, Yitzchak. Avraham is the first day. Yitzchak is the second day of Sukkot. He comes to our sukkah. Yaakov is the third day. Then we have Moshe, which was today. Right? And now we are at night. So now it's the day of Aharon came in. Aaron HaKohen. Tomorrow night is going to be Yosef. And the last day, which is Motzei Shabbat and Sunday, last day of Sukkot, Hoshaana Rabbah, that's the last Ushpizin, the last guest, which is the soul of David, the King David. His soul, a spark of his soul, goes to all the Sukkot in the world. And we even have a chair in the Sukkah, and we say, Zeh HaKiseh Shel HaUshpizin. This is the chair of the Ushpizin. That's not a joke. This is actually, we make a chair, not because they need to sit, it's a spiritual soul coming in. But we have to make a certain, we have to put a certain item and to say, okay, this is your place. Come here, we want you here. And he bless you, and he bless your sukkah, and he bless your house. This Ushpizin. Some righteous people that study Kabbalah and things, they even see them. For example, Rabbi Avraham Antibi, he lived in Syria 100 years ago. Every Sukkot, on the first day after he comes out of the synagogue, he was going to a certain sukkah. Every time to a different one. He was the rabbi of the city. And then they ask him, why do you go to this sukkah or to that sukkah? He says, because I see Avraham going to this sukkah.
Wow.
So I go after him. So he says, if he is going there, means this sukkah is like very good. The person that made this sukkah is like very holy. So I'm coming there. Now usually he used to come to his sukkah every Sukkot. But few times it happened that someone else, Avraham Avinu, came to his sukkah first. So you see that this is actually happening, the Ushpizin. Who is the Ushpizin of the last day of Sukkot? Who is the guest? We said? David. David, King David. Who wrote the book of Tehillim? King David. This is the most powerful book in the world. I'm telling you. If we would understand, we have to make 3 lectures about Tehillim. 3 lectures at least. To understand what's the power of Tehillim. Tehillim has it's more powerful than anything you see in the world. We just don't give it enough, attention. And we think, okay, it's a book like every book. But really, if we're going to go deep into what's the power of Tehillim, I'm going to discover for you things that you like say, wow. Because every person that writes something, he puts his soul inside. And the biggest soul we can have in life, in the world, and the history was David, King David. Because King David, he's the person that suffered the most. If you see his life, you're going to be shocked. This person had a horrible life. And he could handle any situation with happiness. His parents didn't want him. His brothers didn't want him. He was, we even can say, abused in a certain way. He was the black sheep in the house. And then, after he grew up, he became King David. But before he became King David, his father-in-law wanted to kill him. And they forced him to, not to divorce, but to not live with his wife. And he needed to run away from one city to another city from his father-in-law, which was the king. Shaul. And then, when he became the king, and it's a whole story how he became the king, people was embarrassing him every day and telling him, you did a sin with Bathsheba. And then when he had kids, one of his kids, Amnon, he abused his sister, Tamar. It's a big shame. Embarrassment. It's a big embarrassment for a person. A king of Am Yisrael, such a tzaddik. His other kid, Avshalom, wanted to kill his father, kicked him out of the kingdom, and said, I'm the king and not him. Imagine a life, and he lived only 70 years. This is just a little bit to understand. David HaMelech had a horrible life. But look at the book of Tehillim. How much faith this person has. How much love, how much happiness. And he stayed with Hashem all the time. Gam ki elech begeitz al mavet lo yirara. Even when I go through through hell. Lo yirara. I'm not afraid, ki ata imadi, because I know you are with me. The words of Tehillim are very powerful because this person was so strong. He puts all the problems in life in one book. That's why every person that has a problem, he goes to this book and it's just going to solve him the problem. David HaMelech says it's guaranteed. Because I understand you, I also had problems. So the book of Tehillim, if you read it at the day of David, which is the last day of Sukkot, Hoshaana, Rabba, it's the most powerful day. Because that's his day. His soul is dominant, is affecting us that day. So if a person has a problem, and if he does it inside the sukkah, it's even more. Because the ushpizin is in the sukkah. And you read Tehillim, and people ask me, Rabbi, what kind of Tehillim I need for this problem? And what kind of Tehillim I need for this problem? What chapter I read for that? What chapter I read for that? Really, there's chapters that are better for certain things, for health problems. There's chapters for, people that wants to get married. There's chapters that are good for happiness, for getting out of depression. There's chapters for a lot. I'm actually writing now something, about that. But basically, even though there's certain chapters for everything, but when you have a real problem, it doesn't matter really what you open. Any chapter of Tehillim has everything inside. It's good to be focused more on certain things, but let's say you don't know, you can open any page. Doesn't matter what. Just start to read Tehillim. And especially on the day of Hoshaana Rabbah. Now I want to tell you another secret. The last day of Sukkot, Hoshaana Rabbah, the best time for prayer and to ask something, if you really want to get something, it's at midnight. Now midnight, according to Judaism, it's different than the midnight that we know. Midnight that we know, it's 12 o'clock. 12 a.m., it's midnight. No, that's not right. Because according to Judaism, in the summer, the day is longer. Right? The sunset is like here at 9:30. And in the winter, the day is short. Sunset is at 4:30. So in Judaism, every time, summer, winter, midnight changes. Because we always will take the day, and let's say the day is not always 12 hours. Sometimes in the summer the day is 16 hours or 15 hours. So you take 15 hours and you divide it to 12, and then every hour it's not 60 minutes. It's going to be sometimes 70 minutes or 65 minutes. And according to that, we count 6 hours from sunset and we get to midnight. So for example, today, midnight here in Canada, Toronto, is 1 o'clock. And also on Motzei Shabbat. This Motzei Shabbat, which is Hoshaana Rabbah, the day that we're talking about, midnight is going to be at 1 o'clock at night. Very important, even for women, but especially for men, to stay awake at that time and just, we say in Hebrew, tikra et hashamayim, rip the sky with prayers on something you need. Because that moment, it's the moment of Yom Kippur, of the second stamp, and it's a very powerful moment. So keep it in mind. This is one thing, this is a secret I tell you from Rabbi Chaim Palaji, the Rabbi of Turkey 200 years ago. There's another important thing about, so we said one is Tehillim on that day. Not just on Motzei Shabbat, also on Sunday. The whole day of Sunday is Hoshaana Rabbah. Now, very important for men, and for those who are not here, their wives will tell them, very important, if you want to have a good chotam, if you want to have a good stamp, and get a lot of energy this year, get a lot of shefa blessings, it's good if you finish on Motzei Shabbat from when sun set until midnight. You have time to finish the whole last book of the Torah, which is Sefer Dvarim, the book of Dvarim. Just read the book of Dvarim from the beginning to the end. It takes like an hour and a half. I know it's a lot, but this is the most important thing according to Zohar, according to Kabbalah. It's called the Tikkun. That's the fixing of that day. Those men, women doesn't have to do that. They get it from their husbands. If you do the Sefer Dvarim from sunset on Motzei Shabbat, when Shabbat ends, you have time up until midnight, which is 1 o'clock.
Sunset or sundown?
Sunset. sundown,
אוקיי.
sunset.
אוקיי.
זה אותו דבר, לא?
כאילו, סליחה, כן.
כן.
Can women do instead of men?
Okay, if he doesn't do, you can do. But it's specially for them. They need to do this tikkun. If he doesn't do, maybe if you have time, you do it. It's good. But this is something that is very, very important to do for men, especially to read the book of Dvarim. So that's second. Very important thing to do on Hoshaana Rabbah. On Hoshaana Rabbah, we have an opportunity to fix all our prayers from the whole year. Means, you know, the whole year we were praying, we have 3 prayers, right, every day. Shacharit, Mincha, Avrit. And sometimes a person pray just by its own, you know, his own words. It's also a prayer. But sometimes the prayer that we pray, the way we talk to God, to talk to Hashem, we don't have the right focus, we don't have the right intention. So this day of Hoshaana Rabbah, the last day of Sukkot, all the prayers we pray, if we will have in mind to fix all the prayers that we prayed from last year until today, all those prayers that we prayed and we didn't say the right words, or we didn't have intention, or we didn't come to a synagogue when we needed to come to the synagogue and we missed. You have the power in those prayers that you pray to fix all the prayers that you had the whole year. So that's why it's very important that day. Baruch Hashem, it's Sunday, so it's a day off here. Pray as much as you can. Read Tehillim as much as you can. If you didn't do Shacharit at all in your life, maybe that's a good start to start Shacharit. You fix all the Shacharit of the whole year. If you can do Mincha, do Mincha. If you can do Arvit, do Arvit. If you don't know how to do that, go ask someone. Or find out. Someone told me today that his best friend is Chabad.com. That's his best friend. Why? Because he can find everything. So you can go to Chabad.com and or org or com, I don't know. Huh? It's org?
Org, yeah.
Org. Okay, I don't know this, but I'm sure this is a good friend. And you can find some information about things. So, how to pray Shacharit, it's very important to do that as much as you can. If you can do all 3 prayers on Hoshaana Rabbah, perfect. Because that's fixing the whole year. And you're going to have a good chotam, you're going to have a good stamp. Another thing we should know, because it's the last day of Hoshaana Rabbah, I want to tell you a secret. This secret, we can't actually practice it in our days, but it's interesting and good to know. This is a secret that the Zohar say. On Hoshaana Rabbah, this day is so holy and important that there is an opportunity, the Zohar say there is an opportunity to know if you're going to leave this year or chas v'shalom not. What do I mean? If you go at night on Hoshaana Rabbah, please don't do that. But if you go at night on Hoshaana Rabbah, you're not going to be successful anyways, because you have to know some things. If you go at night and you look at your shadow, you can know if this year you're going to have a good income or not. According to the shadow, I'm going to tell you the details right now. You can know what's going to be with your kids and your wife or your husband. If they're going to leave, or chas v'shalom, someone is going to pass away. You can know by yourself. And the big Kabbalists, the whole years, they used to do it every Hoshaana Rabbah. We pray the whole night. So they used to come they pray and they go outside, they look at their shadow and they see. If they don't see a head in the shadow, it's not a good sign. It means that chas v'shalom, this person would not leave this year. So you know what they used to do? They used to go back, pray, and do some Tehillim and do some things, and come back and see again. Until they see the head. And those who didn't see the head at the end, they knew that that's how the tzaddikim, the righteous people, you would ask them after Hoshaana Rabbah, he will tell you if this is his last year or not. He knows. For example, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Mibardichev, that's what he did. He told him after Sukkot that this is going to be my last year. And he passed away 3 days after, 4 days after Hoshaana Rabbah. He told them on Hoshaana Rabbah, that's going to be my last year.
Wow.
And after the holiday of Simchat Torah, he got sick, and day after that, he passed away. So they knew, they felt, and they saw. Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, one of the big Kabbalists 500 years ago, he says, today we have a problem to check it. Why? Because first of all, you have to see your shadow from the light of the moon. The problem nowadays, it's because there's light everywhere. So you can't have a direct light from the moon unless you are in, I don't know, in a desert or in a forest or somewhere that there's no light, only the moonlight. Now, another problem, he says that there's certain hours that you have to go and look. And we're not gonna say those hours because again, it's not something that we should look for, but we have to understand that this exists. People that would look at their shadow on Hoshaana Rabbah, I'm telling you that so we understand how powerful this day. People would go on Hoshaana Rabbah at night, they look at their shadow. If they don't see the hands, means their income is going to be very low. If they see their hands very clear, it means they're going to have a lot of money. If they see their body or certain parts of the body, they can know what's going to happen with their kids. So that's only you can know on Hoshaana Rabbah on the last day of Sukkot, which is Sunday, or actually Motzei Shabbat at night. So why is it happening on Hoshaana Rabbah? So to understand that, we have to go into the Zohar and to understand that what a shadow means. Because each one of us has 3 types of shadows. That's what the Zohar says. Because we have 3 parts of soul, nefesh. Nefesh is the first part of soul, which is located in the liver. Second part of soul is ruach, it's located in the heart. And the third part of soul is called neshama, which is located in our brain, between the 2 brains. Each one of those parts of soul has a shadow. It's called in Hebrew tselem. And this shadow, it's a holy part of you. That's basically the peace of God that is in you. Tselem Elokim. Now, when a person passes away, 30 days before that, the shadow from his neshama, the third one, goes away 30 days before. That's why you can see it in his eyes. If you look at a person's eyes and he doesn't have barak, it's yeah. If you don't have that sparkle at all, Chaz v'shalom, it says that that he doesn't have this tselem. And I had it not long time ago, exactly a year ago. One of the people I know, he came to our shul, and I looked at him, and I looked at his eyes. He looked very bad, and he didn't have this sparkle at all. And 3 days after that, he passed away. So this is, now again, it's very hard to see it. Don't think that, he doesn't have a sparkle. No, it's very hard to see it, okay? I'll tell you another story that happened with one of the rabbis that I'm very close to him. If you remember, I spoke once about the aura.
Okay.
And so I have a friend, he is a rabbi in Israel, in Ramle. I brought him here once.
Yeah.
You remember in my Hebrew class, he came with the machine that you put your hand and you can see your aura, like different colors of aura. And one time he was in Vienna and in the community there, in Bukharian community there, and he took this machine and he was showing people their auras, and he knew the problems that they have according to that, and it was also showing them how the tefillin and the tzitzit and the mikveh that we go, it has an effect on the aura, because he pictured them before and after they put tefillin, and it has a whole change. Yeah, netilat, every mitzvah changed the aura. So he kind of wanted to prove them. This is one of the ways we can prove that actually the mitzvot and the commandments that we do, they work. They change our energy.
They're affecting us.
So one of the things he didn't understand, he came to Vienna, and there was one person there who was 60 years old, and he put his hand, and he doesn't see his aura. Like he doesn't have a light, nothing. And he didn't understand. He thought something is wrong with the machine. So he checked someone else, and he see that he has. And then they check him again, and he doesn't have an aura. So he says, okay, I don't know what's happening. Maybe your hand has a problem or something. It doesn't feel it. And then he came back to Israel, and he heard that this guy passed away a few days after that. He didn't have this tselem, he didn't have this aura, this shadow. So 30 days before a person passes away, the first shadow, which is neshama, goes away. But there's the two, the tselem of the ruach and the tselem of the nefesh, are still there. On Hoshaana Rabbah, at night, so if chas v'shalom a person has to pass away this year, so all the tzelamim, they go away. So you don't see the shadow. Or certain things go away on Hoshaana Rabbah, so that's why you can see it in your shadow, what's happening. This is how holy and how interesting the last day of Sukkot is, the Hoshaana Rabbah. Now, there's another thing that we do after Hoshaana Rabbah. On Hoshaana Rabbah, it's the last day of Sukkot. It means it's the last day we use the four minim, the etrog and lulav and hadas, those that we shake. Last time we used them, it's on Hoshaana Rabbah. So basically, after we use them in the morning, what we do with them? We just throw them to the garbage? No. You made a big mitzvah with those things. So first of all, we have to know a rule. The Gemara, Masechet Pesachim, it says that shiurei mitzvah matzilim min hapuranut. A leftover of every mitzvah, it protects you and saves you from bad things. So just to understand that, I'll give you a story that happened with Rabbi Yakobov Abu Chatzira. You know the Abu Chatzira family, it's a very known family, Moroccan.
Yeah.
They had a very holy people, like for years, every son and a father and a son and a father and a son. You know, they were very holy people that had actually powers. We even had in our generation, and we have them in our generation also, the Baba Sali. Baba Sali, we all know this name. Baba Sali is Rabbi Israel Abu Chatzira. So he was very powerful, and he did a lot of miracles, and everybody heard about that. So the grandson of the Baba Sali, Rabbi David Abu Chatzira, I know him personally, and he also is a very holy person. And you can see a lot of miracles that happened with him. And he lived in our generation, Baruch Hashem, he lives. Yeah, and he lives in Nahariya. So, the Abu Chatzira family started from a rabbi, which was the grandfather of the Baba Sali. The grandfather of the Baba Sali, his name was Rabbi Yakobov Abu Chatzira. And one day he was on a boat. I don't know what was the reason, and I think it was Sukkot, if I'm not mistaken. And he said to his students, some of the students that were with him together in the boat, they told him there was a big se'ara, there was a storm. Yeah, there was a storm in the sea, and there was almost no chances they can survive. Something horrible. And they all came to the Rabbi and told him, Rabbi, we have to do something. And he says, what do you mean? It's we have to do Kiddush. It's Sukkot. So they tell you, Ma Kiddush, Chaz v'Shalom, we can die. You're doing Kiddush right now? He says, no, we're going to do Kiddush. So he's doing the Kiddush. He takes the cup and he makes the Kiddush. And after he drinks the wine, he threw the leftovers of the wine to the sea. And then he said something, and right away, when the wine touched the sea, boom, everything was okay. No storm anymore. So they were like shocked. Rabbi, what is this wine? what's happened here? So he says, Shirei mitzvah metzilim panahu. The leftovers of a mitzvah has a power of protection. That's why, by the way, we have a custom on Pesach. You remember Pesach? We sit half a year ago. We sit on Pesach, let's say that we have the matzah, we break the matzah, and we have the afikoman, the last part that we eat at the end, that we hide it, the afikoman. So if you take a piece of the afikoman, and there's a custom, Bukharian custom, Iraqi custom, we take a piece from the afikoman and we carry it with us.
All year.
Yeah, all year. So what we carry it for? So some people think, oh, it's just to remember, or they don't understand why. This is a leftover of the mitzvah, and if you take this afikoman with you when you go to a trip, it's gonna save you. It's gonna protect you. And even if a lady she is in a labor, she's giving birth. So if she wants to have an easy birth, the baby will come out easy. So they take an afikoman and they put it in between her teeth at the time of labor, and it's coming out right away. Why? Because shirei mitzvah, the leftover of a mitzvah, has a power to protect you and to help you in life. So this is afikoman. Now here we have Sukkot, and in Sukkot we have 4 minim. We have those 4 things that we use for the whole 7 days, shaking them. So what we do with them after Sukkot? If we say, so this is the leftovers of the mitzvah. So now I want to go into some secrets that most people doesn't know. And Baruch Hashem, we have this opportunity to know what to do with those mitzvot, with those things. First of all, to throw it like this to the garbage, it's not a good idea, and it's also not respectful. But there's a few things that we can do with this and use it for certain things, and from here we're going to see how much power HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us that we can use and help ourselves in life. Baruch Hashem that we are Jews and we have this opportunity. So let's start with the lulav. Lulav is the long, it's from the palm tree. And it's a part of the palm tree. Yeah, we have it there, right? Yeah, but don't take it, they need it for tomorrow. Yeah.
Not just to maybe.
Huh?
Maybe for
No, everybody knows what's a lulav, right?
Okay.
The long, yeah. So lulav has, if you keep it after Sukkot, the custom is to put a piece of the lulav or even the whole lulav on top of your door in your house. Why? Because this protects your house from chas v'shalom, robbers, or it protects your house from like negative things. Mamash, I can't say like mezuzah, but it's very similar to this. And that's why the custom to put it in the house for protection. Same thing you can do it to put it in your car. Yeah, in the bagage, in the trunk. For protection. Yeah. Baruch Hashem, I remember one year I had Baruch Hashem, I had the lulav. I put it in my trunk and I just forgot it, not because of this gula of the thing. I just forgot it there and I never took it out. And Baruch Hashem, this year everything was good. The car with the driving, yeah. So you see that it has a certain protection. So this is one thing that we can do with the lulav. Something more interesting is the Arba. Arba, all the 4 types of I don't know even to call the growings that we use. Yeah, the Minim. It's not. There's a reason why Hashem picks this type of Minim of growings, right? I don't know if we spoke about that. I think not in this place. But why we couldn't just take, an apple and a little bit of grass and I don't know, maybe a little bit of rosemary and make like this, and it also will work. Why we have actually those particular things? And you know that if the hadas, the myrtle, doesn't have 3 leaves that coming from the same spot, it's not kosher. Look at the hadas. Every 3 leaves have to come from the same spot. And it has to be 3. If it's 4, it's not kosher. It has to be 3. All over the thing. Yeah? Now, this is the hadas. And the lulav has to be straight. If it's a little bit, yeah, this is the myrtle. This is the myrtle, yeah. If the lulav doesn't go straight, it's not kosher. And if the etrog, it's not a lemon. It's a very special type of a lemon. Yeah? If the etrog has, sometimes with your nail, you can scratch it. If you scratch it even once, it's not kosher. It's like very like a diamond, you have to be careful with the etrog. And if the pitam, the one that the small coats, how you say, I don't know if to call it coats. Huh? Yeah, the pitam, the stamp.
Yeah.
The stamp that is on top, if it fails, it's not kosher. So you have to be so careful. Why Hashem picked those things that we have to take them on Sukkot and to shake them? Why would we shake them? So of course we have to make a whole lecture of Sukkot, why we shake, what we get. We get our emotions on Sukkot, right? We get energy to the heart on Sukkot. By the way, the wife gets most of her shefa, most of her blessing because of shaking the lulav on Sukkot. Yeah? Because she's in the heart. According to Kabbalah, the world of a lady, it's the heart. She is emotional. Yeah? A world of a man is more logical. So on Sukkot, we give her good emotions. That's how we take it to the heart. Now, why we use those things? Because every growing, every kind of growing has a certain energy and has a certain angel that is in charge of it. And this angel that is in charge, he is the one that makes it grow. And the only 4 types of growings that there's no angel that is in charge is Arba Minim, those things that we take on Sukkot. Because there's no angel that is in charge of them, because God Himself is in charge of them. He is giving the energy directly to those things. That's why when you take them, you connect yourself to God directly. Something that you can't do with any other herb, right? And that's why, by the way, herbs they heal. Why herbs heal people? When someone has a cough, he drinks rosemary, right? Or he can drink other types of things that are very good. And there's books, there's a lot of books, Jewish books and not Jewish books, that they're talking about every herb and the effect that it has, right? Why it's healing? Because there's an angel that is in charge of it, right? And you're waking up, by using it, you're waking up this angel, and this angel is giving you a certain power, that this power heals. So that's what happens with Arba Minim. So those things, after Sukkot, when we take them and we use them for certain things, they can give us certain blessings. So Arava, it's the one that we take 2 aravot. I don't know how to say aravot in English, but I hope you understand me. There's no name for the aravot. Willow. Okay, willow. That's a new word. And so the willow, the aravot, they're very special. And we can use the aravot for a lot of things. Now there's 2 types of aravot. One aravot is the one that we use for those 4 minim and we shake them. There's another 5 aravot that every man takes on Hoshaana Rabba. The last day of Sukkot that we're talking about today. At the end, after we studied all night, or even for those who didn't study the whole night, in the morning they come for prayer and they take a bunch of 5 aravot, 5 willows. And those 5 willows, we do something very, very strange. Yeah, we take those aravot, we go to a land, ground, and we just take them and we snap them.
Shake them, hardly.
No, מרביצים, we snap them. כן. אומרים snap, hit them. We hit those 5 ערבות on the ground 5 times, and we say a certain word, חבית, חבית ולא בריך, חבית, חבית ולא בריך. Now, why we do this, it's a whole lecture. But in 2 words, 5 ערבות symbolize 5 judgments. The source of all our problems in life is 5 judgments. That's why we have 5 fingers, because the power of judgment is in the fingers. You remember we spoke about that once? There's 5 types of judgment, and they are symbolized by the letters, the last letters of the alphabet. There's 5 end letters in the alphabet, right? There's Mem Sofit, Mem, Pei Sofit, Chav Sofit, Tzadik Sofit, yeah? Those letters that you end a word with those letters, only 5, we end the word with this because it symbolizes judgments, problems. So what we do on Hoshaana Rabbah, which is a very, very holy and special day, we hit them on the ground, means we are sweetening the judgments, we're taking off the power of those problems, of those judgments, from ourselves and from the whole nation. Now those aravot that we use to do this are very special. Has a big power of kindness and blessing. And by using them in certain ways, which I'm going to tell you right now, you can see miracles. So one thing is for people that wants to get pregnant. Ladies that can't get pregnant, one of the things they could do is take those aravot, because arava, the numerical value of arava, it's the same numerical value of zera, children. Zera is zayin is 7, reish is 200, ayin is 70. So 277, it's the numerical value of arava and zera, children. So that's why if you take those aravot, and you cook them in water, so it's boiled, and you take this water and you give it to the husband and to the wife before they are good together after the mikveh. You give them to drink 1 cup. So this is very powerful to get pregnant. If they do it 3 times or 4 times every time, it's very good, and there's more possibilities to get pregnant, even for those who the doctor says you can't. This is something mystic, and I know one family that it worked for them. I didn't tell it to a lot of people, but one family I know that it worked for them. Of course, everything that we use like this, we have to pray for that also. You use it, you open your luck, you use shi'irei mitzvah, the leftover of mitzvah, which is very powerful, but you have to also pray for this the same time. Ribono shel olam, because I'm doing this, please help me so I get pregnant. Not me, the lady. That's what she should ask. Yeah? So that's the one thing that they can do. By the way, there's another option to get pregnant with the same thing. The aravot, they have a stick and those leaves. So after Hoshaana Rabbah, after they did those 5 times, you take the aravot, you take all the leaves out, and you take 3. You take 3 sticks.
Okay.
And then you take meat, and you put this meat in the sticks, like shishlik, like barbecue. Yeah, men will love this. You 3. But before you do it, you put the meat in, you take 1 stick, and you say, this stick is for the wife, for this lady. You say her name. And then you put the meat. And this stick is for this man, her husband. And then you put the meat. And then this one is for the child. Okay? That they don't have, but they will have. And you put the meat. And then you put it on the barbecue. Any barbecue. Kosher barbecue, hello. Be careful, don't do it with not kosher. Chas v'shalom, chas v'shalom. Only kosher.
Husband and wife should
One second, I didn't finish. One second. After, you can make it as much as, like, you can do it well done, you can do it, medium rare. After you do it the way you want, you give the stick, remember, the stick of the husband, you give to the husband, he eats that. Makes a bracha, she'akol niya bidvaro, he eats that. The stick of the wife, you give her, she makes a bracha, she eats that. And the last one, they eat together, they share. She eats a little bit and he eats a little bit. Be'ezrat Hashem, they will have a baby. Also, to pray for that. Pray for a baby. Talk to Hashem in your language. The best thing to do. So that's another thing you can do. Now, Rabbi Nachman from Breslov says, in his book Sefer Amidot, he has a book. He started to write this book when he was 6 years old. But if you read this book, you say, like, even 100 years old person cannot make a book like this. He went over all the Torah and he picked certain ideas from the whole Torah. When I'm saying Torah, is from Talmud, Zohar, Midrash, Torah, Nevi'im, Ketuvim, all the books. Genius. And there he says he built his book according to the alphabet. Aleph, all the things that start with the letter Aleph. Achila, eating, and stuff like that. Bet. So one of the page in his book, he talks about Bet Banim. Banim is sons, is children. So there he writes that using the Arava, that you can use the Arava for children, like we said before, but you can also use it if Chas v'Shalom someone is scared, either your children or sometimes people, they are scared of life, scared of something, or they are afraid to be scared. They go somewhere and that is very sensitive, right? People that very all the time they scared about life. If they carry Arava with them, the Arava from the Hoshaana that they did, they will feel less scared. They will have more trust. Tov lepachad. It's good to not be scared. So that's another thing we can use it. In another book it says people that has problem fell asleep. Some people they want to sleep and they don't fall asleep. If you want to fall asleep, you can take Aravot from the Hoshanot. You can take a little bit of that. And if you want to have a little bit of my car. And you take those Hoshanot from Aravot and you put it maybe in a plastic bag or even without a plastic bag. You just put it under your pillow and you go to sleep and you're going to see that you're going to fall asleep easily. And you're also going to have a better sleep. I did it a few times to a few people and it worked perfect, mamash. But again, it's only for the Aravot, for the Hoshanah that you do, that you hit them. And the more holy the person that did it, the more effect there's going to be. Because Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, for example, and let's skip for the Aravot for 1 second and go for the Etrog, talk about the Etrog. Because Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, he was giving his Etrog to certain people to use it. And it worked all the time, because it's Rabbi Ovadia Yosef. He even wrote in his book that after Sukkot, after Hoshaana Rabbah, like ladies come to him and ask for the etrog, because those ladies know that it's also Segulot, it's also a way to get pregnant, to eat the etrog from Sukkot. If you cannot eat it like this. It's not.
Like a jam.
Yeah, but you make a jam, and you eat the jam. And this is very good to get pregnant, and it's also a good Segulot for easy labor. So that's why Rabbi Ovadia Yosef said that every year another lady comes, the first come, first take. He gives them the etrog, and a year after that, all the time they come and tell me, "Thank you, I got pregnant." Every year. So you see that Be'emet, this has a certain power. Also for a lady that wants to have easy labor, Easy delivery, yeah. Easy delivery. It's a good idea to do, and it's very good, to take the etrog after Sukkot and take it, and you can say it in your own words. You can say, Ribono Shel Olam Hashem, the etrog, it's Etz Hadat. It's the food, it's the fruit of knowledge. Yeah, Etz Hadat, that Adam and Eve ate. According to certain opinions, it was the etrog. That was the fruit. And I know I could, in Sukkot, the etrog was under my hands, means it was in my house. I could take it. I could make it not kosher. But I didn't. So please, because I didn't touch the etrog and I didn't do nothing, I didn't ruin the etrog, so you please give me easy delivery. In those words. And then take the etrog and bite it. The top of the etrog, you bite it. You don't have to take a piece. Just bite with your teeth, yeah? And Bezrat Hashem, this lady will have an easy delivery. That's what it says in the holy books. So this is another way that we can use the etrog for something like that. Let's go back to Arba. So we said the Aravot is good to use it for people that wants to go to sleep and easily. By the way, Rabbi Nachman Bosef says there's other things that person can do to fall asleep easy. One of the things he says that think about waves. It makes you fall asleep. The waves in the sea. I remember when I was a child, so my mother said you count ships, the spoke of a sin, and then you're gonna fall asleep. So maybe she didn't see the Rabbi Nachman. He says no ships, waves. Count waves, and then another wave and another wave, and you're gonna fall asleep very easy. Also, another thing that makes you fall asleep is thinking about the revival of the death. We all know that Bezrat Hashem, all the people that passed away, they're gonna come back. So try to imagine it. That day. Imagining that day is Segulot, Rabbi Nachman says, is Segulot to fall asleep very easily. So this is another thing, just by the way, for those who has a hard time falling asleep. Now, there's another thing that we can do with the Arba Minim, with the 4 Minim. Rabbi Pinchas from Koritz, he says that people that has a problem with teeth pain, toothache, right? Toothache, כאבי שיניים. Or even people that doesn't have that problem, but they just want to be healthy and to not have a toothache the whole year. He said there's a Segula. You can take the arava, the stick of the arava, and put an apple inside. Make a hole and put an apple or a few pieces of apple, and then make a barbecue. And eat it, and have in mind that because of this mitzvah, this leftover of the mitzvah with the apple, Bezrat Hashem, I would not have a toothache the whole year. And this is a good thing, and I know a lot of people that did it, Hasidim usually. Yeah, the Hasidim, they do it because Rabbi Pinchas Mikoritz was a Hasid, so they keep this tradition doing it. So you can see that you can use, even for those things, you can use the arava to help you for that thing. There's another very important thing that we can do on Hoshaana Rabbah. The Moroccan custom. Moroccans, after the father, he goes to the synagogue and he does the Hoshaana Rabbah and he beats the aravot in the ground. He comes home and you know what he does? He beats the kids a little bit and also his wife. Now he doesn't do it because he doesn't like them, Chas v'Shalom, and he doesn't do it hard. He does it because there's a blessing in it. And he says, I want you also to be blessed. So he does it to the kids. And I remember my grandfather, he used to do it. He used to do it to us, put it on our head, like this. And I don't know, I always remember that as like a very good energy coming to me, at that moment. And that's very nice also. That's a good custom to do also. Take it and just have it, and just like I told you, but just by keeping the lulav at your house gives a lot of good things in the house, keeps it from robbers, from bad things. So it's very good to have that. Now another thing we can do, and I know we already, Baruch Hashem, the time comes, Tu Bishvat. The custom to take the etrog, to make a gem, and to keep it for Tu Bishvat. Tu Bishvat, it's in a few months, but gem can stay. Yeah, it can stay fresh. So you put it in your fridge, and on Tu Bishvat, which it's a day that we eat fruits, and maybe B'ezrat Hashem we're going to talk about that when we're going to come to Tu Bishvat. What's the purpose of Tu Bishvat and why we do it according to Zohar and Kabbalah. But eating this fruit on Tu Bishvat brings a lot of blessing to the person that eats that. And it's also very good for ladies, like I told you, to have easy delivery. It's very good for having children, to eat it on Tu Bishvat, because Tu Bishvat is a special day, and if we eat this type of etrog, holy etrog, on Tu Bishvat, a regular day. Yeah, last thing I want to talk to you about today is Hoshaana Rabbah. As we said, it's a very, very powerful day. And the reason I decided to talk about that, it's first of all to take advantage of that day and change something in ourselves. Because the best way to make sure Hashem changes any chas v'shalom bad decision that could be made on us, on our family, the best way to change it's to change ourselves. Because there is a rule in Torah that says, whatever Hashem does, He does midah keneged midah. The same way you behave, Hashem behave with you. When you change, so they also change, up there in Shamayim in heaven. When you don't change, so things gonna go the same, like it is. And that's why especially, and I know every person has a certain problem, a few problems in life. We have certain addictions that we're gonna, go away, doesn't do it again anymore. Sometimes we have problems at home or in the business. Some people, they feel they don't have enough luck or income or whatever. Whatever problem you have, just come on Hoshaana Rabbah and know that this day you can just change your life completely by reading Tehillim, by doing the things that I said, midnight, very, very important time. For men, the book of Dvarim, if they can do that, and the first part of night. Those things that we talk about after Hoshaana Rabbah, to use the different types of the Minim of Sukkot for different things that we need. But especially when we change ourselves, and even one thing, at that day, we make a decision, that's it, I'm changing. For example, a person that is very angry all the time. Every person that talks to him is like, right away, gets angry at him. Yeah. And he decides, that's it, I want to change. Even though it's very hard, but I want to change. And I accept on myself to work on it. When? On Hoshaana Rabbah, that day. You make the first change at that day, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will change also, chas v'shalom, if there's a bad thing written about you. Was written about you on Rosh Hashanah, or was stamped on Yom Kippur. Now it's the time for changing. And any step that you do, you accept on yourself something. I know, let's say someone doesn't eat kosher. Someone doesn't speak, doesn't speak nice to his wife, or she to his husband. Which is a sin, which is something not good. It's not a good behavior. But I want to change, and if you accept this change on Hoshaana Rabbah, you can just flip your life 180 degrees for good. And that's why it was so important for me to do this shiur today, because I know how powerful is that day, and I think the whole world needs to know how powerful is that day. It's not even just for us, it's also for non-Jews. Because Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Hoshaana, Rabba, it's a time that Hashem judges everyone. It's a time that the decision are made and the stamp are made for everyone in the world, not just for Jews. We just know the time. We just know the secret, and we know what to do to change. Unfortunately, they don't know. But I think and it's good that it's recorded, so people know that this day is so powerful. This day is so important. It's even more important than our birthday, which it's also a whole lecture we have to do about birthday. What's birthday is very powerful. It's very energetic and it's very spiritual. But this day, you can change everything in your life. So Bezrat Hashem, I hope this Motzei Shabbat, if Mashiach would not come, this Motzei Shabbat, we will have, Bezrat Hashem, first of all, a good time, and a happy day, and happy Hoshana, Rabbah, happy Sukkot. I want to bless all of you, Bezrat Hashem, because of the shiur that we did, because of this holy things that we just spoke about, very, very high things that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai revealed, and all the big rabbis in the whole history revealed to us. Because of those holy words, Bezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will fulfill all your wishes, and whatever you want for yourself and you want for your family, Bezrat Hashem, if it's good for you, Hashem should give it to you this year, Bezrat Hashem. And I want to bless you all, Bezrat Hashem, to those who doesn't have children, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should give them children, even without the aravot and the etrogim. But with this, it's also. And those, Bezrat Hashem, that wants to get married, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give them their right man or women, whatever you need. Bezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will fulfill all your wishes and bless you this year. And Bezrat Hashem, that this year, this Sukkot will be the last Sukkot that I give lecture here, because I want to give the next lecture on Sukkot in Jerusalem. So Bezrat Hashem, next year in Jerusalem we're gonna have this year we're gonna be there, but next year we're gonna have the shiur in Beit HaMikdash, Bezrat Hashem, together with you. Thank you for all the sponsors. Thank you for the people that setting up everything. Chag Sukkot Sameach U'Mevorach.